For this speech, I have chosen to talk about diversity in Disney and how we need to do a better job to push for there to be more representation so that children have someone they can look up to. I speak about this topic because growing up, I never had a Hispanic princess to look up to. When I was a little girl, my favorite princess was Cinderella, and as I got older, it became Jasmine because she was brown like me. Until I got a little older and I realized that Jasmine was not the same ethnicity as me. I think it's important that we continue to push Disney to give us the characters we want because representation really does matter. In this speech, I will talk about how Disney can do a much better job with diversity within their movies. We have seen how stereotypical Disney can be, the overwhelming amount of Caucasian heroines, and a better representation of animals than ethnicities. Starting off with the diversity that we see in their movies. This is a quote that I found in the First Nations Diasporas, Jackson, that was written in 2014. The necessity of examining diversity and a wider range of it within the Disney pertinent in our age of globalization. Disney has represented characters of diversity before, but they are always in the background and they have always been very stereotypical. I searched for characters who mirrored people in my community and reflected the values and aesthetics in others. In the case of African, Asian, and First Nation diasporas, instead Disney gave me caricatured representations of the Disney of my world. This was also a quote from Jackson in 2014. Here he is further explaining the fact that there was no real person that was given an actual character. Instead, they were just given generalizations. They also don't have any different sexualities in their representations, where it says Disney's politically correct cinema at its worst, preaching tolerance for society's others while relying on stereotypes, outdates, and thinking. Another quote in Jackson's writing, where he goes further and he explains the fact that there is no sexuality and different sorts of sexuality, and children can never really learn about that sort of thing because it is the politically correct thing to do. For a long time, there were only Caucasian princesses, and before that, the public was wondering when a princess of color would be shown. All the early princess movies were white princesses. According to the American Psychological Association in 2013, exclusively Caucasian heroines to be a multicultural cinematic experience. They coined the fact that a white princess represented everyone, that was just a blank slate and that any race could be added into it, which is not necessarily true when that's all that children are seeing. When Princess and the Frog was released, there was some controversy and some talk about colorblindness, which took away the purpose of having a person of color at all. They said that it didn't really matter that she was black because we shouldn't see color at all, and that completely erases the ethnicity of this princess and the strides that Disney was trying to make. Representation is a complex moment in a cultural steeped in political correctness and an adherence to politics and colorblindness. This was also a reference from Jackson. This further explains the fact that colorblindness does us no well. And as we have seen, when they wanted to cast Ariel as a black princess, they said, well, why not give Tiana a white role? And that's just completely unfair because there are disproportionately more white princesses than black. Finally, Disney has made an imagination into a reality by making animals speak and be the head of their company, but still not giving the proper representation to people of color. Mickey Mouse has been the face of the company since the beginning, and any child would be able to identify that. According to Hopstand in his article in 2013, ask any elementary school how affable Disney can be when one of their students posts a wall painting of Mickey Mouse in the hallways. Everyone knows who Mickey is and everyone loves him. But if they are able to do such a push with animals, why can't they do that with a person of color? In this speech, we have discussed the need of having more accurate representation in Disney, in both the sense of sexuality and ethnicities. I discussed the overwhelming amounts of Caucasian characters and the importance of not having the colorblindness attitude. Finally, I discussed the odd representation with animals but not people of color, something that we should work to change. Disney can do a much better job, and it is up to us to continue pushing them to do a better job, and they will listen to us because we are the audience. Thank you.